guys, I hope you are doing okay. I'm doing fine, and today we are back again with another episode. And today's topic is going to be trying to discern or make a difference between culture and Christianity, because I feel like most of the time, especially as someone who grew up in Africa, I feel like most of the time our culture kind of mix with Christianity, which sometimes it can be harmful. But before we continue, don't forget to comment, share, subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell so that our next episode, when it comes out, you don't miss it. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I last week I uploaded a new episode, which I feel like, if I'm not wrong, would be the episode number 6 or 7, between those two. And it was the first time, because as we all know, if you watch it and if you have been here for a while, you will know that we are still growing. We just started uploading our videos on YouTube, so our channel is still small. And we received a first comment on our video, which, to be honest, I was excited, I was happy, and in my mind I thought someone maybe had a question, or maybe they shared their thought on the topic that we're talking about. But it turns out it was a critic, which I'm fine with that. I didn't say that if we upload our video we can't be criticized for one reason or the other. But this one was different, I would say, and it kind of made me want to have to make a video about this topic. Give me a second so we can. So this was sorry, I'm trying to read through my computer. This comment was, "Sister, your makeup is too much. Be simple and be yourself. You don't have to look more beautiful so that people," I guess I don't know if it's a he or a she, but I guess there's something that he kind of wrote it wrongly, or she, but I guess he wanted to say, or they wanted to say, so that people, you don't I think I said, you don't have to look more beautiful so that people can watch, I guess, the video, but be filled with the glory of God is enough. Meaning you don't have to look beautiful to add more makeup to your face so that people can watch your video, but being filled with the glory of God, it's enough. Now, understand that we all have our own preferences, we all have our own beliefs, our own way that we grew up. But let's not try to I would say, let's not try to mix culture and Christianity. Well, I'm saying that it's not only about this, honestly, it's not only about this comment particularly, but I feel like most of the time as Christian we tend to mix it. Don't steal. It's in the Bible. As a Christian, as a good follower of Christ, you need to do that. Don't kill. It's in the Bible. There is nothing wrong with makeup. I am not what is the word? I'm not convicted that me putting on makeup is a sin, or I don't put makeup so people can watch the video. Me putting makeup on, it has nothing to do with people watching it. This is not the first video. If you have watched our videos, you will see that it's not every day that I have makeup. Sometimes I feel like I want to put makeup on, but as a Christian, where do we draw the line about being judgmental about someone the way they are? Because I can tell you today, there are so many things that I consider a sin, and the other things that I don't do, and other things that I don't do just because my culture don't align with it, and it has nothing to do with being a sin. For example, as a young girl, as a lady, in my culture, we are not allowed to leave our father's house until we get married. That's it. It doesn't matter what's going on. You stay in your parents' house until you get married. The only time that you are allowed, and not every parents accept it, but the only time you are allowed to leave your parents' house before you get married is, for example, for myself, I would say it's when I had to go to college to study. That was the time that my parents allowed me to leave my parents' house and go live by myself. But I came back when I finished because my job also required me to be in this location. And I know the only time again that I will have to leave the house, it's when I get married or when my job requires me to be in a different location. But that's our culture, and it has nothing to do with being a sin or not. Another thing is our dressing. Oh, the hair. Because I will tell you something. There was a time I was in a church where relaxing my hair was identified as being a sin. I was not convicted about it, but I had to follow it just because I was going in that church. And the moment I was able to make my own decisions, I left the church because so many things that were identified as sin. For me, I wasn't convicted that those things were sins, but they were culturally appropriate. So for you to say that my makeup means it's kind of a sin, I don't need it. If people can be filled with the Holy Spirit, that is enough. I understand that I don't need anything for people to be filled by the Holy Spirit. That's God's job. My job is just to spread the gospel and let the Lord do his own work. But I feel like as Christians, we tend to mix, which can be harmful. Because when you mix your belief, your personal belief, your culture with the gospel, it will be hard to make a difference between the gospel and your own thoughts, your own decisions, which comes across sometimes as being judgmental. Because when you feel and believe that your culture is the only right way, then where do we give place for the Bible? Where do we give place for the Lord to do his work than you trying to push your own belief on people? There are people that I know who do not put makeup on, who don't relax their hair, who don't put wig, not because it's a sin, not because it's a sin, but because they just don't want it. They don't like it. They don't feel comfortable with it, and that's okay. But that's not a sin. Just like someone can wear pants, it's not a sin. I believe so. Personally, I believe like wearing that is not a sin, and there is nowhere in the Bible that I say that it's a sin. Because even when they say a woman should not wear something that is meant for men, at that moment, those pants were not there. I don't know if you guys get it. And it's okay if you don't wear it, you don't feel comfortable. That's your personal belief, that's your own choice. But the fact that it's your choice or it's culturally appropriate to you, it does appropriate or it's culturally allowed or not allowed, doesn't mean that is the rule. It doesn't mean that is the Bible. That is the Bible. So I feel like as a Christian, we should learn to extend grace, being understanding, and trying to bring people to Christ in a way that is not judgmental, and not trying to push our own understanding, our own conviction into people. Just because you feel like that's your own conviction, it doesn't mean that is a sin or everybody should not do it. Just another example I would like to bring up, which example I would say being modest. Each and everyone has their own way they define being modest. I personally don't believe to be modest, to look to be presentable, it should mean that you should wear a long dress that goes in a tamba. That's not what I define as being modest. And it's okay if you don't believe or you don't align with that. But also, it doesn't mean that your way of defining modesty, it means that's the right way. And that's where the Holy Spirit comes in. That's where conviction comes in. I would like the Lord to convict me about something and I should follow that without having to put that on somebody else. Just the same way that you can be convicted about something, the Lord convicts you about something. And it doesn't mean that someone else who does it, it means they do sin. So I feel like having to make a difference between being convicted about something or something being a sin or something being your culture should be like, we should make a difference. Because when you try to mix all those things, conviction, sin, and culture together, that's where we tend to lose people. Because when you bring your conviction to me, what if your conviction are not my conviction? What if your culture is not my culture? Does that mean that I'm not a Christian? I'm not saved yet? Does that mean that I'm doing something is wrong just because you don't believe in it? So at the end of the day, let's learn to extend grace, be loving and empathy without trying to force people to have our own belief. Without having to make people feel like they are doing something wrong because they don't have the same culture as you, they don't have the same belief as you. Because when we do that, that's when we tend to be judgmental, and that's when many people say they're Christian are judgmental. And when you look at it, most of the time it's not because of the Bible, it's not because you are a Christian, just it's because of your own culture, of your own belief, of your own conviction, and what you feel and believe like it's right. Because how many times have we seen people on TikTok, people on Instagram, and every social media? Wearing a wig is a sin. It's having demons. I don't believe in it. And there is no place in the Bible that says that, which makes me feel comfortable enough to wear the wigs just because I don't believe it. But also because that I don't believe that it's a sin, I'm not convicted about it, doesn't mean that you should wear it if you don't feel comfortable enough to wear it. But let's extend in all of those things. Whether something is a sin, whether something is a conviction, whether something is a culture, let's learn to approach people with grace. Let's learn to approach, or rather have an open conversation where you teach me, where you make me understand your point of view, and where I can tell you where I'm coming from, and having a normal conversation than you trying to accuse me, or you trying to make somebody feel like this is the only way, or else there is nothing else. Because again, the only way is the Christ. It's through Christ, sorry. And know your way, know your conviction, not about your culture. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget again to like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.